Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and thank you for watching this video. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite consoles of all time, the original Xbox. But before we do that, if you like this video and want to see more content like this, product reviews, tech content for PC and stuff, but also product reviews for retro consoles and of course retro gaming, then throw a like on this video and go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos that I have in store for you guys that I'm going to be filming within the next couple of weeks. Now, on to business. The original Xbox was released in 2001 to much fanfare and also much chagrin because a lot of people were like, what in the world is Microsoft doing getting into the world of console gaming? But I think that with their first outing, they did quite a good job. Now, the time period that it was released in was what is known as the sixth generation of consoles. That included the Sega Dreamcast, the Nintendo GameCube, the Sony PlayStation 2, and of course the Microsoft Xbox. I did not purchase my Xbox until about, I'd say, June or so of 2002. And when I first got my Xbox, I didn't really know about Halo yet because obviously I didn't have a console. But one game that I did buy, it was a football game because I had a somewhat unhealthy obsession with the NFL, but it was NFL Fever 2002. Um, and as you can see, there's Peyton Manning right there on the cover. Um, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, and I have been since 1999. And basically, I became a fan just to give my stepbrother crap because he was rooting for the Jaguars. They were playing. Anyway, I digress. Um, the classic players that were on the Titans team: Steve McNair, Eddie George, Samari Roll. I believe Keith Bullock was in this. Frank Wycheck. All those were in this game, and this is one of the football games that I've played the most, and it's still a lot of fun even to this day. One of the things that makes me have such fond memories about the original Xbox is it was the first console that I bought with my own money. Before that, my Christmas gifts and group gifts for me and my siblings, we got a N64, Super Nintendo. It was all Nintendo up to that point, and then I was able as a 18. Let's see, 2002. Yeah, I was 18, and I was able to purchase an Xbox by myself, and so I could choose whatever games I wanted to play on it. Here are some facts. The next part of this video is going to be some facts about the console itself. It was the first console to be sold with a hard drive, and before the Xbox, what you would have is and this is the PlayStation 2, the N64, is you would have these memory cards. And I'm not sure if the GameCube, I think the GameCube had these memory cards also, but um, depending on how many games you had, particularly with the PlayStation and the N64, um, you would have to have 4 or 5 of these per console, and they were about $20 a piece, so it got pretty pricey pretty quickly. And even in the I guess, in the same generation as the original Xbox, the PlayStation 2 had to have memory cards as well. Now, you may say, but wait a minute, the PlayStation 2 had a hard drive that would go in it. You are correct. It did have a hard drive. However, it was not sold with the console. Number one, you had to buy it as an aftermarket accessory, so to speak, and also you had to have a network adapter to make the thing work. So the Xbox was the first one that, from what I read and what I remember, that it was the first one to have a hard drive included with the console. Now, what is a video game console without the controller? For everybody who remembers or who has gotten one of an original Xbox since its original release, they know what I'm about to show. A lot of different controllers have come and gone from in my lifetime. There was the first there was the little rectangle that was with the NES, and then the Super NES was a rectangle with rounded ends. And then you had the N64 controller that looked like an upside down Trident. But the Xbox came with this. This is what is known as simply the Duke. And if you look on the back, it says Xbox Game Controller, but it's been affectionately known as the Duke for 20 years or so now. The reason that a lot of people did not like this controller is because of its size. Now, this is an Xbox game, and you can see how big my hands are. I'm making sure that I'm in the frame. My monitor's over there. Anyway, so you can see how big my hands are. That being said, I did not have a problem using this controller. But I have exorbitantly large hands, as I said, and enough people complain. And what Microsoft did is they redesigned this and they introduced the Controller S. What the Controller S did is they made it not as tall. It was probably about that tall. I don't have one on hand because I can use these and it doesn't bother me. But anyway, so they made the height of it a good inch and a half shorter. They took the black and the white buttons up here and moved them down here, and they took this gigantic Xbox logo right here in the middle, and they shrunk it down to about, I'd say, half of what it was, probably more than that. And that made it smaller so that people with smaller hands could actually use the controller and therefore use the console. Again, wasn't really an issue for me, but I think it was a good guy Xbox at that point to do this. So while we're on the topic of the size of things, let's talk about the console itself. Now, I would say probably the Commodore 64, as far as weight is concerned, is the only thing that comes close to being as heavy as this thing is. I don't have a scale, but I'd say it's about 5 to 10 pounds without actually looking it up. I would guess 5 to 10 pounds. And it's probably the heaviest console I've ever held. And as far as how much room it takes up, whenever I use consoles and streaming them, by the way, if you want to see my live stream every Friday and Saturday night, 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 p.m. Eastern, shameless plug there. But when I use consoles and stuff, I place them right back here. And you can see how much room that thing takes up. And that's without the power cord or the data cord and stuff like that that hooks to my monitor. That's without all that. So it is a honking unit of a console. Now, a cool feature about this, and some of my veteran PC users will understand what I'm talking about, and also Xbox. But back in the early to mid or actually throughout the 90s, you had what's called a LAN party, and a LAN party was local area network party. And what people would do is they would bring their PCs and their monitor, keyboard, and all their peripherals to someone's house or a common area, maybe a big conference room or something, or somebody's basement, and they would hook up multiple monitors or multiple televisions, and they would play their PC games with everybody in one game. Your Unreal Tournament, Doom, Quake Arena, stuff like that. They would all play together, and it was the first really, really big multiplayer type of thing. And because Microsoft is the one that made the Xbox, they put that idea in the Xbox. So you have the, where is it? There we go. I couldn't see it. You had this Ethernet port right here, and so you could take at least I don't know if you could do it with more than two, but you could take two Xboxes and hook them together through what's called System Link. And if you had two TVs and you had 8 people, so two consoles, 4 on each console, playing, let's say, Halo, then, you know, and you wouldn't have screen looking and stuff like that, so therefore people couldn't cheat, and you had more people playing at one time. Again, it was the early days of online gaming. And of course, with the Xbox 360, you had the online aspect because it actually had the ability to go online. But the LAN party was, I'd say, one of the first things, and then the Xbox came around with System Link. So, enough about the console itself. I want to show you next the games that let me back up here for a second. So, whenever the Xbox 360 came out, I got rid of my original Xbox, something I heavily regret. However, in 2020, I started collecting and getting into retro gaming and streaming and content creation. And so the one console that I wanted that I didn't already have, or the ability to play on, was an original Xbox. So I looked on eBay and I found the console that you guys just saw. And I started finding all the games that I used to have. So here, this is the, I have them right here in a stack. These are the games that I used to have that I had to buy again after I started collecting. So you guys saw the first one. It's NFL Fever 2002. One of my favorite NFL games, and way more than most Maddens. I'd say 94 and 95 are the ones that I really liked. Past that, I go to a third-party developer like this, or one that I'll show you in a second. Now, if you have watched this channel for any amount of time, you will know that I'm a huge comic book nerd. And one particular comic book specifically, and that is X-Men. Wolverine is my favorite character ever, and so you'll see me talk about him, and I have little figurines and stuff like that. But anyway, so a coworker, I'd been burned enough by X-Men licensed games where I saw this come out, I didn't care about it, but a coworker was like, dude, you really, really got to try this. You will not be disappointed. He knew about my love for X-Men, and he was like, you will not be disappointed by this game. You can play with 4 people, and it's a really, really good time. So I bought it, and this wound up being my favorite original Xbox game of all of them. It's the one I've played the most, and it's still almost 20 years later after its release, my favorite original Xbox game. And of course, you have to have the sequel. It's still really good, not as good as the first in my opinion, but still a good, solid title to have. And I got a little overzealous and forgot my lesson about licensed games and bought this one whenever it was licensed for X-Men 2, X-Men United. And this really has nothing to do with the movie. It just has X-Men on it, so they decided to tie it into the movie. And it's not great, but it's not completely terrible. It's got a really, really good story, but the gameplay leaves a lot to be desired. One cool fun fact about this is that Mark Hamill, otherwise known as Luke Skywalker or the Joker, actually provides the voice of Wolverine. Now, I mentioned football, the NFL, a minute ago, and before the NFL gave the official video game license to EA, there were a couple of different companies that made games. One of them was Microsoft Game Studios, or what we know now as Microsoft Game Studios, and the other one, was Sega. So, if you remember on the Sega Dreamcast, you had NFL 2K, 2K1, and then 2K2 went to the 6th generation. But this right here is probably in my opinion, this is the best football game ever made. aside from NFL Blitz, because NFL Blitz is a different animal by itself. That's a different topic for a different time. But this, except for there's a portion of this game called the crib. Except for that, the menus are easy to navigate. It's easy to pick up and learn, the different features of it and how to use them. So this is, like I said, this is the best football game ever made. And anybody is willing to debate me on that, I'll be happy to take on that challenge. Now back on to the comic book front. If you've played Max Payne 2, then and you like him, you would probably have a lot of fun playing this. The difference with the Punisher is that you see that M rating right there. It earned that M rating because sometimes in the game you capture criminals and you torture them to get information, and you use drills, forklifts, basically anything in your environment to get information out of criminals or enemies that you find in the game. It's a lot of fun. Again, a really good story. And if you remember the Punisher movie from 2004, Thomas Jane, who played the Punisher, he reprises his role, or with at least his voice, in this game. And I think he did a really good job there too. I love that movie. Some people don't. So if you like the Insomniac Spider-Man games, the one on PS4 and PS5, then you can't deny the fingerprints of this game on those. This was the first open world Spider-Man game. You had missions you could do. You could just run around and swing around for 2 hours, or catch those godforsaken balloons for the kids that they kept losing. Stuff like that. The combat left a lot to be desired, but it was so much freedom in this game that it's a classic, and it's one that I will always keep in my collection. If this one, knock on wood, breaks for whatever reason, I'll buy another copy just so I can have it and play it whenever I want to. Now, back in the day, I used to be a huge boxing fan. Thank Mike Tyson for that, because he was coming into prominence whenever I was a kid. I think I was 6 the first time I saw him fight. But that grew my love of boxing, and I picked up this game because I love boxing. And EA, again, this is back when they made good games. EA has made like Fight Night Round 3 and stuff like that. I personally love this one better than any of the rest of them, because this is simple. There's no story mode. Well, there's technically a career mode, and you can fight through 10 fighters and you win the belt. And then you can do it again, and they'll give you a couple of different fighters, but mostly the same. But it's still a lot of fun. And especially when you have a couple of guys on a Friday night and you're playing this game, and just the the truckloads of smack and trash that's talked while playing this game, it's just so much fun, and it's simple, but very, very well done. I love this game. And the roster of fighters that you have on there, you have Vladimir Klitschko and his brother, whose name is escaping me at the moment. Muhammad Ali, obviously, Joe Frazier. I don't think George Foreman's on there. It's been a little bit since I played it, but I know that Lennox Lewis is on there, Sugar Ray Leonard, Oscar De La Hoya, a lot of really prominent fighters, and some not as widely known. But either way, really, really fun game. And speaking of Electronic Arts again, you had Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. This is the only Need for Speed game that I've ever owned besides Need for Speed Heat. It's not perfect, but it was still a lot of fun, and I think back in the day I got all but maybe 2 cars unlocked. Now, some people are huge fans of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and okay, good on you. That is a great Grand Theft Auto title, and cool. But my personal favorite, I don't have the original case for it, but my personal favorite is Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It was the first one that I played, which probably is what causes me to like it so much. I think the story was fantastic. The voice acting, you had Ray Liotta, Burt Reynolds, and there was another, I think it was Tom Sizemore who voiced the main villain. Anyway, really, really good game. I never could understand why he couldn't swim, but even with that, it was a lot of fun, and I've played through it probably 15 times. I love that one. So, finally, as far as the games that I had when I originally had my Xbox, was one that if you have an Xbox collection for original Xbox, you cannot go without having this game. And one kind of giveaway to what this game is this. I always say that Doom is the granddaddy of all first-person shooter games. GoldenEye on N64 is the daddy of all N64 games. Or excuse me, of all first-person shooter games. This is the really cool uncle whose house you go to on the weekends, and he lets you get away with anything you want. This was a game changer. It was, as far as I know, the first first-person shooter where you had two joysticks on the controller, where you could strafe around and stuff like that. Unlike in GoldenEye, where you had to use the C buttons as the joystick. But anyway, it was the first really, really good 3D one. Doom and GoldenEye have their places, but they were not in the high stride in the era of 3D gaming that we know now. But Halo, it changed the first-person shooter genre in a good way, and in my personal opinion, this is the best Halo. Put it up against Halo 2, 3, 4, 5, just kidding. Against Halo Infinite, I don't care. This is the best Halo game ever made. Not to say that all of the rest of them suck, but this is the best one of all of them. And this right here, I mean, if you hear somebody say "gamers stand" or "gentlemen stand for the gamer national anthem," they better be playing the intro to this, because it's synonymous with gaming. Since repurchasing this console that I showed you guys earlier, my collection has grown, and from the entire collection, now I'm going to show you about 10 minutes of various Xbox games that I dearly love, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'll see you guys back here in just a minute.
It's a pity. I fell quite hard for you, and now it's time you did the same for me. Goodbye, Dominique. Use the helipad and take care of the body. No! It's futile, Mr. Bond. You've seen too much of my operation to live, but I wanted you to enjoy this moment first.
Security alert! The elevators have been temporarily disabled for your protection. Have a nice day.
Let's go. The Force will guide.
Surround the Jedi.
Hurry, Obi-Wan.
Back off. I'm warning you.
We're now in a cargo loading and storage area. There must be it won't be long before it's terminal and roll back.
You're under arrest. Surround the
Meet the
Jedi.
bigger fish. Now, let us press the attack. Let us press the attack.
Stay alert.
Thank you all very much for watching my video. So if you'd like to see games like those and PS2, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, all those fun retro consoles, subscribe to the channel, and while you're at it, throw a like on this video. And if there are any consoles you would like me to talk about and maybe give a little bit of history about in the future, then leave a comment down below. Just a reminder that I do stream every Friday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 11:30 p.m. Eastern, and I hope to see you there. Until next time, work hard, play hard, game hard, click on this video right here, and be excellent to each other. Bye.